This is Qatar, the richest country in the world, between Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and the UAE. So rich that its per capita income is $100,000, which is much more than America, Singapore, and neighboring Arab countries like UAE and Saudi Arabia. Big buildings, shopping malls, expensive cars. That's why Qatar is also called the Vegas of the Middle East. But Qatar was not always like this. Going back a few years, Qatar was just a stratified desert in which there was nothing but poverty, hunger, and boredom. Then how did this big transformation happen? How did the country, which was the poorest among all the Arab countries, become the richest country in the world today? There is a very interesting story behind this, and this story is different from the story of other Arab countries. By the end of this video, you must have also understood why Saudi Arabia and UAE do not like Qatar, and how Qatar will be more prosperous and safe in the coming times as compared to its neighboring Arab countries. The story begins in 1916, when Emir Abdullah Al Thani of Qatar signed a treaty with the British, according to which Britain would defend Qatar in case of any land or sea attack, and in return Qatar would remain a part of the British colony for the next 25 years, and Britain would have a share in every natural resource coming out of here. The first oil field was discovered in Qatar in 1940. Until 1960, the work of discovering oil in Qatar and extracting it from the ground was the rise. But the situation in Qatar had started changing slowly. But still there was not much change. But then in 1970, the Shell Oil Company discovered the biggest treasure of this country. The North Field is the largest natural gas field in the world. Gas was not very profitable in those days, and the reason for this was that gas could be sent to other places only through pipelines, and Qatar was so far away from gas-using countries that it was almost impossible to reach there through pipelines. For this reason, Shell Company also forgot to discover this gas field, and this discovery got buried in official documents only. Qatar got independence from Britain in 1971 and became an independent country. Despite getting independence, the situation of Qatar did not change much in the next 25 years, and then came 1995, when Crown Prince Hamad bin Khalifa Sani rebelled and overthrew his own father's rule and became Emir of Qatar. The new Emir had only one focus, and that was gas. Hamad bin Khalifa knew that only gas could change the fate of Qatar. That's why he invested in a very rare technology, gas liquefaction. Liquefaction is a technology in which gas is converted into liquid form so that it can be transported to other countries in ships like oil. In this whole process, the gas has to be kept cool at -160 degrees. Qatar made all the investment on this process, and today it is the largest exporter of LNG. Countries importing gas from Qatar include Japan, India, China, South Korea, and Spain. Billions of dollars started pouring into Qatar, but it was only a small part of the equation to change Qatar's fortunes, as many countries have natural resources. Many countries also exploit them. But the real issue comes to use the money coming from those resources properly. Otherwise, the outcome of Venezuela and Angola is in front of us. This is the place where Qatar took the bet on all other countries. Qatar formed a company named Qatar Investment Authority in 2005, whose purpose was to invest the money coming from oil and gas all over the world. And that is why today you will see Qatari investment in every big country and every big company in the world. Be it London's big hotels, offices, and apartment buildings, or Russia's biggest oil company. Qatar has heavy investment in all these countries and companies, but it is also a small part of Qatar's total investment. Apart from this, Qatar has invested $1 billion in roads, airports, research centers, and financial centers. Even right now, FIFA World Cup, which is probably the biggest sports event in the world, is also happening in Qatar because such state-of-the-art stadium is only near Qatar in whole Arabia. The purpose of all these investments is to create alternative income sources of oil and gas. Now this is the economic side of Qatar. On the other hand, to gain international political influence, Qatar started the world's largest Arab media network, which we know today as Al Jazeera. In fact, Qatar was under the control of Saudi Arabia for many years, and the new Emir Khalifa bin Hamad knew very well that if Qatar has to make a place in the world, then a separate identity is very important for it. Al Jazeera has played a tremendous role in taking Qatar's voice and its narrative to the whole world. Even during the Arab Spring of 2010, Al Jazeera was the only channel to air the protest, and because of this, it also faced tremendous criticism from Saudi Arabia and other countries. The influence of Al Jazeera is so much that in 2017, when all the Arab countries boycotted Qatar, the first demand that was made to end it was to ban Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is banned in Saudi Arabia and UAE from 2017 till now. Qatar's boycott was a complete failure, and the first reason for this was that Saudi Arabia did not have the support of all the Arab countries in this boycott. Kuwait and Oman also did not become part of this boycott. Second, Qatar also has very good relations with Iran and Turkey, due to which Saudi Arabia and UAE are very angry with Qatar. But internationally, all the countries consider Qatar as a neutral state, and that's why except 6 countries in the whole world, no one supported this boycott. Qatar has also got another future advantage because of gas. Regarding oil, many experts say that if not 2030, then maximum 2040, it will be replaced by electricity. But there is no such prediction about gas. On the contrary, the demand for gas is increasing day by day. Recently, after the blockade of the gas pipeline by the Russian side in the recent Russo-Ukraine war, the demand for Qatar gas has increased 10 times. Because now European countries are also approaching Qatar for gas, and this deal will make Qatar richer. Qatar's energy exports have already crossed $100 billion in 2022. So tomorrow, when the rest of the Arab countries will be worried about the replacement of oil, then this change will not make much difference to Qatar. Now all is not well in Qatar, and recently many questions have been raised about the condition of the labor class there. But still, Qatar is a very open state compared to other Arab countries, where there is media freedom, economic conditions are better, and future planning is also done. At last, we come to that farm which is probably rich in natural resources. But due to political differences, corruption, and religious extremism, it is currently a victim of poverty, hunger, and slander. South Asian Indians make up 60% of Qatar's population, with Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, and Nepalese being the largest group in the Qatari population. So, dear friends, these are all the sources from which we have consulted for this video. If you liked this video, then do like it and subscribe to the channel. Because we have yet to make videos on many interesting topics, your support is very important. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.